If the United States turns into a full-blown Christian theocracy, the thing that's going to get me burned at the stake is the fact that I think that Jesus' resurrection is super easily explained by heat stroke. I was in Christian youth groups as a kid, and so when you're in youth groups, they take a really long time spelling out just how agonizing the crucifixion was. And one of the things they talked about was how that when you were crucified, you didn't die from like getting nails in you. You died because you basically weren't able to keep holding yourself up on the cross. You would start to sag down, and eventually you would suffocate from your rib cage pressing against your lungs. Part of the reason this was such a gruesome way to die was because it would take several days for you to slowly lose energy until you can't hold yourself up anymore and you slouch and you asphyxiate on your own rib cage. But Jesus didn't take that long to die. Asphyxiation wasn't the only way you could die on the cross, though. You could also die of dehydration, which would make a lot more sense for Jesus because one of the things he's known to have said on the cross is, "I thirst." And Christian scholars have tried to explain like the symbolic importance of this, but it's also possible that he was just thirsty. If he was thirsty and dehydrated, and if it was hot outside, there's a very good chance that he was suffering some form of heat stroke. And one of the things that can happen when you suffer heat stroke is called pericardial effusion, which is when liquid starts to build up around your heart and the organs surrounding it. And one of the things we know from the Bible is that when the Roman soldiers stabbed Jesus in the side, it was not just blood that came out, but also water. Now, once they got Jesus down off of the cross, he may well have seemed dead. And part of the reason for this could be that when you have heat stroke, you've got an extremely faint heartbeat. And one of the best ways to get people to recover quickly is to take them to a cool, dark place, like a tomb. Back in the day, someone recovering from heat stroke may have seemed like they came back from the dead. And if we do end up living in a Christian theocracy, then my guess is we're not going to do anything about climate change, which means there's going to be a lot more heat strokes, and that means that we're going to have a lot more resurrections in the future.